Welcome to Arresting Normality. My name is Aaron. And that is a proper way to open a podcast. A podcast. Of course, there's Travis and there's Cody and Stealing Life and Howie Games and such and such and such.
I don't appreciate
This is the most half-assed.
Yep, you're welcome.
the blasé representation of my brand, sir.
Brand?
I mean, it's a brand. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it kind of is. It is.
I'm actually surprised that Aaron's considering it a brand. I expected immediately back.
No, it is. It is. Like if you were to ask if PewDiePie was a brand, he definitely.
Yeah, but he actually
is.
makes good content.
Okay. I wasn't gonna discount your content, so I was.
Yeah, I've enjoyed your content. Is this like a make Travis feel better about himself podcast?
I don't know, but we're not going there.
Aaron's like, no, I will not do that.
I will not make him feel good about himself.
I was on his side. Thank you very much.
I know you were. I know. He jumped.
That's
on
how
you.
we just grab it and just flip it, turn it around, and throw it right back in your face. Fuck you, Aaron.
You gotta grab it, flip it, rub it down.
Bam.
Yeah. Smack it.
Flip it.
Rub it down.
It's one of those. What was it called? Bop it.
Bop it. Yeah.
Bop it. Twist it. Rub it down.
Rub it down. Rub it down.
Rub it down.
Rub it down.
Pull it.
Where did rub it down come from in all of this?
Twist it.
Rub it.
Rub it.
This sounds like a really inexperienced, I'm just gonna.
No, I don't.
I'm not gonna.
Nobody knows.
I'm not gonna continue.
I don't know where
thought.
you're going.
I don't want to
Nobody
go
knows
there where I
what
was
you're
going
doing.
because I realized we're actually.
Were you talking about the clitoris?
Well,
No? Okay, never mind. Never mind me.
I think he was.
I
He
probably was, but I'm not
Pretty
gonna
sure
say
he
I was.
was.
No, Aaron's just the weirdo.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Anyway, Cody, you had an interesting week with the wrestling.
Oh yeah.
And so I was curious about because we learned all about a character called the Fiend, not last week, but the week before.
It was like 3 weeks ago. wasn't it?
And
It was like 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
time is no consequence to me.
Aaron is a BF. We're all having strokes. Please, somebody call a doctor.
And we all kind of learned about this character who was really cool and kind of got me excited about WWE for the first time in forever. Well, no, I was into it when I was like,
I like how there's a lot
Until I
of
was
past
like-
tense words going on.
I was like 12 to like 19-ish is when it started to fall off.
Probably sooner than that for you.
Probably a little bit sooner, but like I watched it and then I got
like
really into
17.
Yeah, it was when I started really getting into music when I didn't have time to watch a TV show for 3.5 hours.
Yeah. What does that say about my life?
Now, hold on. I want to make sure that everybody's aware that when Aaron says he didn't have time to watch TV shows for 3.5 hours, me, him, and Corey all watched enough Yu-Gi-Oh! On Corey's mom's bandwidth that we overcharged her by like $300 on one billing cycle and got in massive amounts of trouble. That's how much time he didn't have. Anyway, continue.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a wonderful show.
It was a great show. I'm not gonna...
And I would go back and watch that show if I could.
That's fair though, by Travis. That's fair.
Okay. Now,
That's fair.
now that we're done picking on me,
Oh,
We're not done. That's the theme of today.
No.
buddy.
No.
We just started.
is it?
We'll find out.
Is it
I pick
though?
on whoever.
Is it?
I pick on whoever presents an opportunity.
You pick on low-hanging fruit is what
Yeah.
you pick on.
And myself too, if I'm the low-hanging fruit. So don't worry about it.
Anyway, but there has been somewhat
Just
of a
made a joke about my own
It
life.
was just there has been somewhat of a revelation with this character, and I don't believe it's gone in a good direction. However, I don't know what happened. I just know that Cody had you spoiled it, you piece of shit.
I was just saying, can we get a recap? Like, because I don't really I know he's a spoopy guy that did like a little kids show.
quick.
A spoopy black
I
guy.
didn't say black guy.
That's offensive.
Say black guy.
Oh
Demonetized.
shit, dude! I can't believe you went there.
Oh, the
Travis.
accidental
I know,
racism
jeez.
is very, very real.
He's not even
He's
black.
not black. I didn't say black
like
guy.
Irish.
Oh, I shouldn't loot the. Okay.
Nobody take that out of context.
Okay, hold on. Disclaimer: nobody said black guy. Nobody was racist here. Continue.
No racism here.
No racism.
Move on. Just
means
move on.
much racism.
Shut up, Cody.
So where are we? What are we doing?
Recap of the Fiend.
Yes.
Okay, he's a wrestler.
No, like why was he?
Nailed
Why
it.
was he
Got
good? Like he had a cool storyline.
Well, yeah, he's just they're doing like a really cool character with him. He's like a split personality. One guy's this happy, friendly, I love everybody, Mr. Rogers type. And then the Fiend is a crazy psycho clown killer man guy.
Okay, so we have Mr.
Killer Man
we have
guy
Mr.
thing.
Rogers
Yeah.
and ICP. I gotcha.
Kinda. Yeah. But the Fiend was being built as like a separate entity almost, where you have Bray Wyatt and then you have the Fiend. So it's two separate
So
people,
Bray
even though
Wyatt
that's the
is
same
Mr.
guy.
Rogers. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But there started to like a shift happened where the Fiend showed up, and at first it was like, oh my god, the Fiend. And then the next week it was like, the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. And it's like, oh, they're really, now they want us to connect the Fiend with Bray Wyatt, which I don't know why they did that.
Yeah.
But then, so every week, then it was not just the Fiend. They would make a point of saying the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, pushing the Bray Wyatt thing.
Okay.
Which, whatever, we know it's Bray Wyatt. Then they've been building this feud with him and the champion for like a
Who's
month.
champion?
Seth Rollins is the champion.
Is that his
they've
actual
been building this
character name,
feud.
or is it the champion?
No, he's the champion. Seth Rollins is the current champion.
Okay, I thought that somebody
Of
had a character
WWE.
named the champion. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I mean, I could see it
I
happening.
could see it too, but no, he's the current WWE Universal
Okay.
Champion, whatever the fuck it's called.
I am the champion of the
Of the universe. You should do that. They've been building this feud. They were building to Hell in a Cell, which is, one of their big matches.
Is it like hell?
in a sale.
Yeah, but like inside of a cell. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if anybody knows what Hell in a Cell is, but it's like
I know
it's like
what's
a
in
cage
a sale.
match, but the cage,
The mitochondria is the
surrounds the
powerhouse of the sale.
God damn it. Of the cell. It surrounds the ring, so there's like some room on the outside.
And it
There's
has a top on it,
Yeah,
too,
there's
yeah.
a top on it, so you're like completely. So they build it as.
Could
like
you
this
imagine if
thing
somebody
that
actually
you
like
can't
climbed
get
out though? Like if there wasn't a top, they're like, nope, climb all the way out.
Well,
I mean,
that's
that-
a cage match.
Yeah.
They do that all the time in
They
cage matches.
do they
The
really? They
problem is
climb
in,
out.
like
They're
Hell
like,
in a
okay,
Cell,
no.
there's like a door, and they like open the door,
Well, they're not supposed to.
but they do it.
They lock it.
Yeah, but they still.
They
open it.
usually get out. Yeah. But they were building to this thing, so everybody just kind of assumed the Fiend was gonna like eat Seth Rollins' face off,
which would be fucking awesome.
which he should have done because you've been building this guy for a couple months now. Well, a few months with the Bray Wyatt Mr. Rogers thing. It all led to this. And then they get to the match, and they made an odd decision right from the jump to do the whole match with a red light over the ring. So it was all in red light,
Okay.
which didn't come across good on TV.
Yeah.
I get what they were doing. They were going for the spoopy.
Yeah, but it didn't work though. It was very annoying to watch on TV. Like my eyes started to freak out.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't good. And then instead of having him just come out and like murder Seth Rollins to death, it was like a 20-minute match, 15-minute match, something
Well,
like
wouldn't
that.
you want it
And that's
to
too
be some? Well, I mean, I don't know. 20 minutes.
Well, for a character like that, he's supposed to be a destroyer.
Yeah, like you imagine back in the day, Taker, every
Yeah.
time he come out, he just fucking destroyed
Yeah,
people.
like you come
And that was
out-
exciting.
Yeah. And that's what they did his first match with Finn Balor. He came out, it was maybe like 5 minutes. Finn did a couple things, but not really. And then he just ate him alive. And this one was like 15 minutes, and it started okay. Because Bray was dominating, doing his thing. That character's really cool, and he knows how to work the character.
The current champion guy.
And no. Bray.
Oh, right. The Fiend. Just call him the Fiend. I'm
knows
never
how to
going to
work
remember
that.
Bray.
Well,
Nope.
his
What?
name's Bray. But
Who's that?
The Fiend.
Okay, thank you. Now I know
so
who it
he
is.
knows how to work that Fiend character. He gets it over. The fans love him already. He's by far the most popular thing in WWE already. He's had one match. And he comes out and he's doing his thing and he's, throwing Seth around a little bit. And then Seth starts grabbing weapons and he like hits him in the back with a kendo stick and Fiend just walks it off. And then he gets hit in the stomach and he walks it off. And all that stuff was really cool. But then something happened.
That wasn't cool.
Like a few minutes into the match, Seth just started dominating. Seth just starts hitting him with everything. Throwing him into the steps, throwing him into the fence, hitting him with chairs, hitting him with kendo sticks, hit him with a ladder, hitting him with everything. And Bray's just not doing anything. Fiend, sorry, is not doing anything.
Oh.
And the crowd starts to turn. The crowd starts to boo. Because we're not there to see Seth do shit.
Yeah.
We're there just to see the Fiend do his stuff.
Mm.
And I get it. They were trying to build him as like this unkillable thing. Because like Seth would hit him with all his stuff and then try to pin him. And he would kick out at one. And I get it. You're trying to build him as strong. But then Seth went on to hit, like, his move is a curb stomp, it's called. And he runs at you and he stomps your head into the mat. It's a pretty cool move. He did it like 40 times. Way too many times. And I'm not exaggerating 40. It was like 40 times. It was so many fucking stomps, dude. And it just got to the point where he started hitting him with everything. And Bray's just, Fiend, god damn it, Travis. He's laying on the mat, motionless. And Seth just keeps hitting him. And then he like hits him with a chair, and then he puts the chair down, and he hits him with a ladder on top of the chair, and then he puts the ladder on top of his face with the chair in between, and then smacks that with a toolbox a bunch of times, which is weird. Then he goes out and gets a sledgehammer and smacks him with a sledgehammer. And then they call the match off. They end it.
What?
There. They just stop it. Yeah, they just stop it, which it's a Hell in a Cell match, so there's no rules.
Right?
So it shouldn't end because he hit him with a
sledgehammer. Did something go wrong?
Everything else. No, this was their plan because they call the match off. They raise the cell up. They bring the refs and the officials out. They bring a stretcher out. They start putting the Fiend on a stretcher, which that doesn't work for, like, put the Undertaker. Would you put the Undertaker on a stretcher?
No.
Or Mankind?
Never.
Like, they did it once to Mankind, but they kind of fit because he, like, died. He fell through the goddamn cell. That wasn't supposed to happen. But
wait, like he actually died? Or was this planned?
Well, no, but, like, it looked like he died.
Right.
Undertaker thought he killed Mankind in that match because he wasn't supposed to fall through the top of the cell. He was supposed to, like, almost fall through, and it was supposed to catch him. But he fell all the way through. And Undertaker even said in interviews, like, I thought I killed my friend. But so they're doing this with the Fiend, and then Seth, I guess, like, gets close, and then the Fiend pops up and starts beating the fuck out of Seth. And then they go for another, like, 5 minutes or so of Fiend just beating the fuck out of him. But at that point, you had already lost the crowd. Right. The crowd didn't care. They didn't react to anything. They started booing. They started chanting bullshit. They started chanting refund, and then they started chanting AEW, which is the new wrestling company. Which is really bad. Yeah, and that was all on the show, too. So I saw all that on TV. And then that was it. He beat him up for a while. He did, like, his mandible claw thing. There was blood. And then it ended. And that was it.
Who is their writing team?
And then the next night on Raw, they didn't talk about it. Well, they've got a whole staff of writers. I don't know who any of them are.
Well, they did bad.
Well, I mean, it all comes down to Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
He's the decision maker at the end of the day.
He's the decider.
Maybe he shouldn't be anymore.
And then on Raw, they just ignored it. They didn't talk about it until there was like 10 minutes left in the show. And then they did like a video package.
So is Raw like a recap thing?
Cut around everything. No, Raw is the weekly show on Monday.
No, yeah, like, but like, I'm trying to get
doing something.
No,
else.
I'm trying.
I can hear him typing away.
I'm trying to get context here. Is it like what is it? Just the wrestling regular scheduled matches, or
it's the weekly show of wrestling? It's a 3-hour weekly.
Okay, so yeah, I thought it was more like the after the game kind of thing.
No, Raw is on every Monday. It's the main show where you advance the storylines and shit. And they just didn't talk.
So it's like in between
like
the main matches kind of thing, like the pay-per-views and shit.
Well, yeah. Well, Raw kind of is the main matches.
Oh.
It's like the main show that sets everything up, and then you build to a pay-per-view.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it's the show that's been around since like 90
So that's like the shit that my
Way back
stepdad
when.
used to watch when we'd watch that.
Yeah, it's the wrestling show.
Yeah, because I don't think we ever paid
But-
for pay-per-view.
Generally, after the pay-per-view happens, you further it. Or
Right.
you talk about it, or what something happens, you know? And this one, they just did nothing.
Yeah.
And then they showed a video package where they cut around everything. And I guess they cut out, like, him getting annihilated, and they kind of just showed him beating up Seth. And they had no audio, so you couldn't hear the boos and shit. And that's it. And he didn't make an appearance. He wasn't on Raw. Seth wasn't on Raw.
They got to do some damage control now.
Yeah. Well, I guess they had him come out on a dark match. A dark match is a match that happens not for the TV show, just for the live crowd. So it happened after the show went off air.
That's pretty
Did they
And,
film it?
Yeah, they always do a couple. No, they didn't release it, but fans took video of it. And he came out after and beat up the guys that were in the thing. And the crowd went crazy still when he came out. So I think, and the reports are that they did that to see how much damage was done.
Yeah.
To see if people still cared about him. And the place went crazy, which I'm happy about.
Yeah.
Because it's not his fault that the
No.
booking was fucking awful.
That was stupid.
Yeah, I don't know
would you do
why they would be like, oh, okay, let's maybe. Because I thought it was to show his, like, invincibility or something, you know, like beat the shit out of him and have him still get up.
I think that's what it was. That I'm sure that's what it was. But the
They,
problem is
they went
crossed the
too
point.
far with it.
It was too much.
Yeah, and it gets kind of boring at that point.
Dude, I'm a lifelong wrestling fan, okay? Wrestling's stupid. And I know that. But I'm watching it, and this was the first time I felt stupid for liking wrestling.
Oh.
Because I'm watching it
that's
happen,
sad.
and all this stuff is happening. I really did. I felt bad about myself. I'm sitting there watching it, and
Cody's
I'm
like,
like,
I need
I'm
to rethink my
stupid.
life
Why am I
decisions.
watching? Like, I'm sitting there like, why am I just wasted 3 hours watching this. Like,
Was
why
that a
am I
pay-per-view too?
doing- I
Or
could
like
be
the
doing
Hell in
anything
the
else. It was
Oh,
a
so you
pay-per-view,
paid for
yeah.
it. That's even worse.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, I didn't. Luckily, the pay-per-view system's different now. You pay $10 a month instead of like 60 for each.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, that's they had to change that though because like it was.
Yeah, they have a network now,
Yeah.
so it's a good deal. But I legitimately felt bad about myself. I was like, why am I watching? This is fucking stupid. Like, I'm dumb. And I turned it off, and then I felt bad the whole night.
Like I'm so.
I was like, this is. Yeah.
That's how I feel about World of
Like,
Warcraft.
I'm
Sometimes I'm like, why do I waste so much time on this?
Yeah, and I've never felt that way. And there's been some dumb shit, and I've never felt bad about it. And this one just, it was a combination of like, I cared, and it's like, I shouldn't care,
Yeah.
but I do, and I can't stop myself from caring.
Right.
And now I'm sad, and I'm upset, and I'm mad, and I'm still gonna watch.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was weird, but it's just, I don't know, it's a weird call.
Yeah.
And they did that 2 days after they ruined Kofi Kingston's whole title reign too, and they had him lose to Brock Lesnar in 5 seconds, and that made a lot
Brock
of people
Lesnar's
mad.
still doing things. I thought that guy was like doing things when I was
Yeah.
little.
He was.
He was, yeah. He debuted in 2000 and something.
That guy's got to be getting old,
He is. He's in his 40s.
Yeah.
huh?
But I mean, Jericho's fucking still wrestling. He's 48 or
Yeah.
some shit.
You think they'd get hard? You know, kind of like athletes. Well, I mean, it is athletic.
Yeah, of course. It definitely
Well,
gets
you change
hard.
your style, right? So, like Jericho, when me and Aaron were watching as kids, Jericho was like a high flyer, doing all kinds
Oh,
of flips and fucking badass shit. And now he's gained weight, and he's just a brawler. Like, he goes out and just kicks people's asses. And he does like one flip a match. He'll do the lion salt thing off the middle rope still, and that's it. Yeah, so you change your style as you get older.
Yeah,
that's all. But I don't know. It's just
It's just like I am old.
it's a thing that I shouldn't care about, but I do care about it for some reason. And it's just terrible, terrible decision making to build a character and then ruin it.
Yeah.
Well, bummer.
Even Jess, who's like not a big wrestling fan, was like, "Why are they doing this? Like, what are they doing? This is weird."
Yeah, it's just the decisions that are being made at this company right now are very odd.
And it's a bad time to have bad decisions.
Yeah, like
With AEW starting up and all the excitement.
yeah, you got to be careful. They're gonna lose a lot of customers to that shit.
I mean, Now, granted, I watched AEW. It's not great. So,
I mean, but they're not great
they
either.
haven't lost to me yet. Yeah, but I'll still watch WWE. WWE has name value, though.
Well, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
nostalgia,
It's Coke.
et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. It's like a new company coming out with a new cola right now is AEW. And WWE's Coca-Cola. Like it's going to take a lot for them to fuck it up.
Yeah.
But they're on their way.
But they're doing it. It's kind of like when Coke...
That was the start,
They're doing
man.
a
It's
great
kind of
job.
like when Coke changed their
If they don't
formula back
fix
in the
this
day.
fast, they're going to lose a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, especially when you're finally garnering some attention for your company for new people for the first time.
This
and then it's
character-
just like, oh yeah, let's fuck it right up.
This character has brought a lot of attention. It's getting a lot of excitement. Wrestling fans are... I haven't seen anybody that doesn't like this character.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just push it to the moon?
Yeah, go for it.
They the report was that they said they think it was too soon for the character to win the title.
So?
I agree. He doesn't need a title. But the problem I have with that is it's your show. Don't book him in a title match if you don't want him to win the title.
Exactly.
Don't do it. He could have been booked against anybody and ate him alive and we would have been happy.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be the champion. But they're trying to get Seth Rollins to be that guy. And he's just not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, honestly, even if they would have done something like, I don't know, like have him get the shit kicked out of him for a few minutes, not like fucking like a half hour. Like come out and have him get a board smashed against his head, and he just is like, yeah, what? You know, like just doesn't even phase
They
him.
should have started with him like immediately, like he comes at the Fiend and just like fucking goes at it, and immediately kind of what seems to be a little bit getting ahead. It's like, maybe he is doing it, but then eventually the Fiend kind of walks off, shakes off, beats the shit out.
Right? Yeah.
And if they wanted to not give him the title, they could have figured out another
Honestly,
way.
like I think you know what would have been cool in my mind, if he kicked the shit out of him and like they're like, oh, he wins the title, he just fucking throws the title belt back at him, like doesn't want it, walks off.
Well, yeah, that's like they could have just had him beat the fuck out of him and then not finish the match.
Yeah,
just leave.
That's it. That's all I wanted.
Just leave at that point. Don't pin him. Just leave. And he left him, and we would have been okay with that. We don't care if he's the champion. We just want to see him do his thing. We never cared if Undertaker was the champion.
Nah.
We just want to see him come out, beat the.
Well,
fuck
that's
In fact,
like well for me.
A lot of times when he was the champion, it was kind of boring.
Yeah, it didn't work as him as a champion, and I don't think this one would work either. I don't think this is a character that needs to be the champion.
Those types of characters in general don't really work as champions.
Because every time Undertaker was the champion, people got sick of it. Because you don't need it. He doesn't need it.
Yeah, because then he appears too often
Yeah.
for too many things.
This guy just needs to show up and eat people, and that's it.
Yeah, just every now and then.
It's
Like
just-
that's how Sting was. He never like maybe he got a championship later, but
I fucking love that every time we talk about wrestling, Sting
well,
comes
no,
in.
like because this character
Sting was the champ quite a bit, actually.
later on, yeah. But when he was first introduced, like when he was like up in the
Before and
rafter
after.
shit.
I love that you still think that's when he was.
Well,
first
when I
introduced,
first
even though I
knew
already told you
about
the
him,
Stinger.
That's before the whole
Well, yeah. See,
before the whole
is a good
wolf
example,
pack
though.
shit. That was dumb.
He didn't wrestle for like a year. It was like a year of him just being around
Yeah.
sometimes. And then he wrestled and he won the belt and it wasn't
No,
that great.
it sucked. When he was the champion, you'd see him all the
Yeah.
time, and you're like, oh, well, this isn't near. And when he started talking, it was also really dumb. You're like, oh.
I mean, he's a good promo though. He did it before all that too.
Yeah, but I liked the mystique
But-
of the character. That's the thing is like,
I mean, I just don't get it. Because there's ways to get out of it.
always ways.
Like, the first Hell in a Cell match was Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. And it was great. Shawn Michaels won. But the way he won, he got his ass whooped for that whole match. Because he should. He shouldn't be able to beat up The Undertaker.
No.
Taker threw him off the side of the cell, through a table, threw him into the fence, beat the ever-loving shit out of him. And then I think, I could be wrong about my timelines here, but I think that's when Kane debuted.
Oh.
And I think Kane debuted, ripped the door off the cell, beat up The Undertaker, and I think that's how Shawn won.
Which is badass.
Yeah, and that works. Shawn, like, escapes with the title, but you didn't ruin The Undertaker, and then you just built Kane also.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is just like, no, we're going to have him just get decimated by a guy.
I think that's the problem
Like,
with.
He's still scary, though.
Don't worry, he's still scary.
He's so scary, but a guy can beat him up.
Yeah,
I think that's the problem with
Just a
trying to
dude.
build these boogeyman type characters, because they're really interesting and really cool at first, but they lose a lot of interest the second that they get the shit kicked out of them. And
Don't kick the shit out of him.
yeah, that's the problem though. Is they're like, oh, we want to.
Why
Yeah,
does he have
the
to?
whole point, I guess, is they shouldn't have put him against a champion. They should have just let him eat somebody alive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
agreed.
exactly. They never had to book him against the champion. Never.
Yeah,
Just have him go against anybody. That fucking Braun Strowman. Have him eat him alive. Who cares? Nobody cares. We just wanted to see him pop up for a minute, do his thing, get out.
That is entertainment.
Yeah. I don't know. And it makes me very mad, and I'm still mad about it.
yeah, because honestly, I was even like, oh, this character's cool, and I don't even like wrestling.
Right?
That's the thing. It got a lot of people talking.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people that didn't give a fuck about wrestling anymore were like, oh,
And
that's
just hearing
interesting.
about this makes me
And
go,
now it's like, yeah.
Right? You're just
like,
ah.
I don't like
I
it.
mean, while I was watching it, I was like, well, that character's dead. That's what I thought. But I mean, the crowd went crazy for him. I've definitely cooled a little bit. I still love him because I like Bray Wyatt, the guy. I like him. He's a great performer. And I don't want
It would be a shame for a guy like that to lose kind of his whole career because they did one stupid match.
Yeah. And he's been struggling for a while, like a bunch of different gimmicks. And he had the Bray Wyatt cult leader gimmick that worked for a little while. And then they booked him badly in that too.
He's got to be
And
mad.
this hit so
He's got to be mad at like.
Well, he posted right after the match, he posted like some gif of just a guy going, like putting his shoulders up, his hands up, like, I don't know. Like, and it's not his fault. And people are mad at Seth. It's not his fault.
Right.
Like, it's whoever made the decision, which would probably be Vince McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
He's making the choices still.
He's been making
I don't
choices
care
since
who you
way
bring into
back
the
when.
company.
Like,
Well, he owns the company.
can
Yeah.
he sell it now?
Can he sell it now? He needs to just retire.
He does.
Yeah.
I was
And
gonna say
let
he seems out of
Triple H.
touch.
Triple H.
He seems out of touch with his
He
fan
needs
base.
to let Triple H take over. I mean, yeah, that's what people have been saying for a long time. He's out of touch. He's been out of touch for a while, I think. And that's why it's hit this point of everybody is so excited for AEW. Not because it's great, but because it's new.
Yeah, it will definitely be different.
Yeah, it's not Vince McMahon. We're going to get something other than the way Vince McMahon does it, which is just shoves the baby face down your fucking throat. You're going to like him, and that's it. I don't care if you don't like Roman Reigns. You're going to fucking love him.
Yeah, that's not good for business.
I mean, and you think he would know because he tried it with The Rock.
Oh, yeah.
When he was Rocky Maivia, they were shoving him down people's throats, and nobody liked him. People started chanting, "Rocky sucks, die Rocky, die!" Like they
Die,
hated
Rocky,
him.
die.
They hated The Rock, and they turned him heel,
Yep.
and then he became The Rock.
Yeah.
Like you should know that we're not gonna like it just because you tell us to like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done talking about it.
Fair enough.
He's heated.
I fucking hate it, dude. It makes me I was so excited.
I'm so
I even told Jess the day of it. I told Jess the day of it. I was like, I hope this is good because I'm really excited. I was like, I haven't been this excited for a character in a very long time.
Right.
And they just shit in my face. Like they just shit all over my face.
That's one way you could put it.
For shame.
Like I showed up like this, like I'm so excited, and then it just all over my fucking face, dude. My mouth was open. It was terrible.
Got in there.
Yeah, it got all in there.
So,
Ugh.
well, in a completely unrelated topic, the PS5 was just announced a couple days ago.
What?
What was
What's
that?
the problem? Are you gonna be a douchebag?
Are you going to be all elitist
Oh,
about
I- No,
consoles?
I'm.
What?
Go on.
Speak.
Okay,
Words.
have you looked at the specs? Have you looked at the specs on it?
Not really.
Did they release?
Yeah, they have
They
tentative
haven't
specs,
really released
tentative. And they're saying that they're going to make a budget-friendly console, which I'm all for because usually consoles come out at like $500 or $600. Now, Aaron, from your base knowledge alone, they are saying that they're putting SSDs in this fucker.
Sweet.
They're putting 32 gigs of RAM into it.
Holy
They are
shit.
putting a 1080 or above comparable card in it. And they're having
This thing's going to be expensive as
They're
fuck.
saying it's less than $400, and I say bullshit. They can't do that unless it's cheap as fuck and doesn't work. And that's why I'm like,
Okay. If they're doing a 1080 in there with solid state and 32 gigs.
no, in they're
only
going
way-
with AMD for their processors, and they're saying it's like one of the Threadripper shit.
Good.
And I'm like, that's a gaming PC, dude.
Dude.
It's a gaming PC.
No. I disagree. I completely think that whatever you were reading on that is bullshit.
Yeah, are those?
Yeah,
real?
no.
'Cause I haven't
Those
heard
were.
Sony
Let me
say
look. Let
anything
me try to
about
find it.
specs.
Let me try to find it because those were tentative.
But let me look.
Those were tentative specs.
Because I
So
read the thing that the release on it. I didn't see anything.
Yeah, those
about
have actually
specs.
been
I
out
just saw
before
them
the
talking about some ideas.
release date. They had those coming out like earlier this year.
That's why I don't think they're real.
PS5
Yeah.
specs.
Because a lot of stuff comes out about the new consoles all the time,
it-
and they're usually never real.
yeah, like 90% of the time it's total bullshit.
And you know, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's fine. I would rather be wrong.
If you're
from
wrong, I'm gonna fly down there and kick you in
Eurogamer,
the nuts.
PS5 including SSD, ray tracing, and will be more powerful on the PS5. All confirmed, and PS5 details including backwards compatibility. CPU will be an AMD Ryzen 8 cores, 7 Zen 2, GPU and ray tracing.
It's a Ryzen 7.
And it's got to be a 1080 or better because that's the only thing that's got a ray tracing tech on it.
Right.
And 4K Blu-ray player, we don't care. And it says it's going to have 8K support, including full 4K, for USB 4.0 connections. Yep. Yeah. Okay. The only thing that I'm not seeing is about the RAM, and this is from the Eurogamer, and this is the PlayStation 5 specs chat with one of the developers. Bullshit.
It's going to be like 6.
It's gonna.
I bet
They're
you
not
it's
gonna
be
get
like
away
6.
for under 8 on that, dude. There's no way.
Yeah. I bet you they can get it at 6.
You think
because
so?
you got to imagine this is PlayStation. Yes, this is PlayStation. They're going to be buying things wholesale, like ridiculous amounts of wholesale, and that's how you get things that cheap.
I mean,
if you're a giant company spending multi-millions of dollars at one company, they're going to give you one hell of a deal.
but here's
Absolutely.
They're not going to make it.
here's
too high
my
'cause they don't
thing
wanna clip their
on all
sales
of
off.
this.
They already made that mistake for the PS3. If you remember when the PS3 first came out, it was like $850, I think it was.
It was pretty
brand new.
expensive.
It was
I don't
fucking
remember,
expensive.
but it was expensive.
I mean,
And
it
I
was 6.
understand why
It was
it was so
6 when it
expensive. It's
first
because
came
it
out.
was. It was at least
It might have been.
$650.
It was
Yeah,
expensive.
it was the most
But
expensive
they
one, but
put
it was
in
6.
it was hardware backwards compatible. So it had a PS2 built into it and a PS1 built into it. So it was actually backwards compatible for everything. And
This one's saying it's going to be backwards
that's why it was so
compatible, too.
expensive.
They say that every time, though.
Yeah, did it say anything about it in that article?
It just said backwards compatibility was confirmed. It didn't go into more detail.
So it probably just means for PS4, not PS5.
Yeah, or what? What? You mean the PS4 5 will be backwards for PS4, right? Okay,
Yes.
That's I was like, how will it be backwards compatible for itself?
What I meant, like, it wouldn't be backwards compatible all the way through. You know, like all the way back to the PS1, which I think some people are thinking that it
That's
will be.
what people want.
Would that be absurd?
Yeah.
Plus, very few people have those discs anymore.
Yeah, just buy a download.
Pointless. Yeah.
Just fucking buy it on the store. It'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Just the whole thing. I don't see it being that cheap. I just don't. But like at the same time, what is it? We're looking at it. It is basically it's just a gaming computer that you can't upgrade.
That's always
That's what a console always is.
That's always is what it's been.
I mean, you're just
been
looking at it through a negative, douchey lens.
Well, it's not a negative,
it's a
douchey
mid to
lens. I'm just saying,
high-grade
like,
PC.
you gotta
That's what it always is.
give
though.
me something more. Like, if there's exclusives that are truly exclusive and cool, then I would see getting it, just because I love games and it doesn't matter what I play it on.
The point of a console is not only to have exclusives, but it's to have a gaming unit that is extremely consistent, never crashes, never has any issues with it, and that everything is going to run exactly the way it was intended, which you don't get with a
that
PC.
I disagree with. I mean, even playing Borderlands 3 with Alicia on the same fucking network, I always have NAT type shit come up, and it's not just me, it's with other people I play with. And
that's internet. That's not like
that's
your
not
actual
the
gaming
console.
experience.
no, but like connectivity issues, and then on top of that, the console just
still internet.
You get all that same shit with a PC though. Like you can still have connectivity.
I've never had
issues
a NAT
and-
type issue with my PC, not once. And maybe it's because I use Discord to talk, and Discord's just the ultimate, way to chat. But like as far as jumping into a game with somebody, that seems to be a console exclusive issue because I've never had that issue.
I've never had any issues really playing games.
And it tends to be.
I haven't had NAT type issues in a long time.
I only play consoles, and
It tends to be only
don't
shooters
remember
that I
ever
ever
having
have that issue with. I don't know if there's a reason for that. I don't know if they're servers. I don't know. Is the bottom
I
line.
mean, I've played those games too.
But I don't know. It just seems like why, if you're like, let's say that you're in a situation that you can only have one console. It's just
Which is most
Right.
people.
what would make that the console that you want to get and limit yourself to just that,
You'd be doing that no matter what. Everyone has to make that choice.
I mean, not really. I mean, if you buy a
Yes.
PC, then you can play other than exclusives.
Some of us, a lot of people don't. Okay, so I don't have
Right.
a PC, and I don't plan on getting one because my problem with it is I like Aaron said, the consistency of a console. I buy the console, I'm good. I know that all the next PlayStation games that come out, I'm going to play them sons of bitches, and I'm going to get the experience that they meant me to have out of it. With a PC, a new game can come out and be like, oh shit, my fucking graphics card or whatever isn't good enough, so I'm not going to get to play it on the highest quality, so it's not going to look as good as everybody else, or this is going to come out, now I need to get this, and now I got to upgrade this, and I just spent it on this, and I'm constantly upgrading the fucking thing, where I buy the PlayStation.
But that's not I have a point to argue here.
And moreover, with that being said, with PC, you're always a lot more involved, right? There's always like little things that you're tweaking and changing to get things installed and whatnot. And with console, you'll pop in a disc and you're done.
Yeah, you
it's
install it
a
and it's over.
simplistic, streamlined experience for those who can't and even be in some cases threatened by PC because building it seems. For a lot of people, it's kind of like, I don't know if I really want to do that.
It's a little overwhelming.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
get building your PC would be overwhelming, but I mean, as far as issues that are like I'm constantly installing and upgrading, I have yet to upgrade anything that would mean that I couldn't play a game. And I bought this computer 3 years ago. Not to mention, even with all the new stuff coming out on PlayStation 5, my specs are still good enough that 3 years ago when I built the sumbitch, it's still fine. So unless you buy a really old one off the bat, then your longevity is way longer on a computer, and the same problem arises on consoles that you have to continuously upgrade. And I would argue more so and more often because generally it's about. Oh, am I cutting out?
No, just for me.
Okay. But generally it's about. Every 3 to 5 years you have to get a new console. I mean, occasionally they'll have it like to where, this game's coming out on like let's say the Wii U and the Switch. They did an awesome job of making certain games be available on the Wii U and the Switch so that people had time to transition, and I think that's awesome. That's cool. But as far as console gaming goes, I mean, is even projected for where games are at, I shouldn't have to even touch my upgrades for the next 3-5 more years. And that's just projections. Who knows if that'll actually be true. Okay.
So, how much did you spend on your computer?
I spent, and I went a little bit overboard. I spent about $1,000. So for $400 more dollars, you avoid paying $600.
No, you can't say $400 because most consoles, even if you're going for like debut prices, they're like $350.
Bullshit. Okay, I'm gonna look up PS4 release
PS4.
price. I know it was $600 because we picked up the Xbox One.
No, it definitely wasn't.
I got one when it came out. It was not $600.
Let me see.
So my point was is
PS4
that
release
you're paying about
price.
double, right? About double, and you get
it was 400 euros, so it was about 500. And that's the
wrong direction, buddy.
Euros are
Euros are stronger than the
no. Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Euros are stronger than the dollar.
That's what I mean. That's why I said it's about $500 because it was 400 euros.
It'd be around 450.
Yeah, it'd be about 450.
It was like 450 when I got one when it was brand new. It was not 600.
So you paid more than double for your computer.
Where's the
and
fucking US dollar price? I can't find the fucking US dollar price on this thing.
You can just convert the euros. It's not that big a deal. It's going to be like 460, and then they usually eat the cost. It's going to be like 450, 449 or whatever. Anyway, point is, you're paying a little bit more than double for your computer, and the PS4 is still equally as relevant 6 years later. It's been more than that now, hasn't it? 2000.
The release date was
what, the 13, I think.
2013. So it's been 6 years.
Yeah. So it's been 6 years.
And it's not coming. The new one's not coming out till
next year. So it'll be
so
7
it's remained
years.
relevant for 7 years.
Yeah.
At about half the cost. And it'll remain relatively relevant for probably another year, maybe 2 after the PS5 comes out, and then be pretty much dead. I mean,
that's how it definitely
this
how it
one
works.
says the PlayStation 4 launched at a
But
price
there
of
is
$399.
Today's research analyst
$400.
USADA said the console will cost $499 when it launches. Oh, okay. So now they're talking about the PS5.
No, not that.
They're saying
yeah, the PS5 is going to be $500, but the PS4 launched at $399. It was $400. That's what I thought.
okay. From what I found, it said $399 in euros, but I can't find anything on it.
No, it was. I found
And
the American
they
version.
might have done $399 in euros too, because sometimes they just eat the cost,
Right.
Because they want it to be consistent.
Right.
But yeah. So I mean, you're paying a lot more and you're getting a lot more. But consoles end up being consistent and budget friendly, and that is a big plus.
I mean, it's budget friendly
big
for the at the time buyer. I'd still say that I will save money by. Well, I won't because I'm going to buy a PS5.
How many years is your PC going to be like before you want to upgrade?
Before I want to, or before I have to? Because I want to upgrade it all the time because I want to upgrade it all the time because I do video editing and different things that I'm like, ooh, I can juice this up.
Saying,
but for video games wise, like I said, I've already had this for 3 years, and in the next 5, there's nothing that's coming out that's going to make it to where I'd have to upgrade, or at least projectable. That could be. We don't know is the bottom line.
Because I know a lot of people that play PC and they upgrade their shit so fucking much because they gotta get the new hot best fucking thing. It's gotta look
that's
the
the
best.
snobby version of it. It's because people really love their CD or PCs.
Well, and that's
Do you
fine.
need that? No.
But like, isn't that the perk of playing on a PC? Is getting the top of the line shit?
Making it look much better.
But
than
when I
everything
can
else.
just pay one flat price, get my console, and every game's gonna look the way it's supposed to look on that console, and I'm gonna be happy.
Well, but that's my argument is that yes, you could be
and it's half
an
the
elitist
price.
and go, okay, well, I'm going to continually upgrade my PC and spend a ton of money. Or you could just be a normal person that can afford what they can afford, buy a good PC right off the bat, and then be good for 10 to 12 years.
Even then, you're still paying double.
You can't say 10 to 12 years.
And that doesn't seem
There's
believable
no way.
to me. No,
Not-
10 to 12
not
years?
even a
No
chance.
way, dude.
Well, okay,
if you think
realistically,
of what-
Aaron, from where we're at right now, what new technologies are coming out on the PS5 that your computer does not have and can deal with.
That's not the point.
It's not.
10 or 12 years ago, we're looking at what's 12 years ago would be 2008 or 7.
Right,
yeah.
but,
and so Half-Life 2 just came out in 2007 and was pushing
but
the
you're
boundaries
thinking
of
of
technology at
terms.
the time. Half-Life 2 is like so
But
irrelevant.
You have to take into consideration
technologically.
the amount of tech that we had at the time and versus where we are now. Right? We were
Exactly. That's my point. Is it's impossible for people to know at that point, and technology moves at such a rate that you can't predict what it's going to be. When you put on a console, they make it specifically to work for them.
Real quick.
Go on.
We were developing computers at that time in such a rate and such a boom that we've jumped leaps and bounds. I mean, let's look at the fucking original spacecraft that went to the moon. It had less memory capabilities than a Nintendo 64. But we're getting to the point where we bottlenecked to where, one, the tech is outperforming what even the human eye can see or perceive or do. So it's becoming unnecessary. So, could we get tech that's beyond that? Yes, but I don't think in a classical gaming sense that it will be, one, anything that you have to get to upgrade. Because, I mean, tell me the difference that you can see between a 1080 and a 2080. I mean, you can see it, but it's very, very minimal. Now tell me the difference between a 650 and a 2080. Well, it's huge. You can see it. But this is the new gen versus the supposed old gen, but the old gen is just as viable, is what I'm trying to get at here. Basically, I'm contesting that unless they come up with a new form of gaming, i.e. completely VR kind of new what the fuck shit, then it's going to become irrelevant to upgrade and you won't have to that much. Could I be wrong? 100%. I don't know what they can do, but I mean, even with ray tracing technology, there's nothing that uses it because you don't need it. Did I DC? Oh.
No, it's just you're banking on that we're not going to figure out anything new.
Yeah, well, and that's what I mean is could we? Yes.
What's the time frame? Because I honestly don't know. So this is an honest question. What's the time frame that what'd you say, the 1080 and then the 2080 or whatever? What's the time difference there?
Between those two? I think the 1080 came out in 2000.
I don't think it was very big of a time jump. I think it was only like 2 to 3 years, honestly.
So, I mean, in your whole little point there, you compared the difference between something that came out 2 years ago and then something that came out like 2007. Of course that's going to be a big jump, but that just shows they're constantly working on shit because they've already got something that's better. It might not be so much better, but it's already better than what came out.
No, my whole point is that within the last, let's even say 5 years, there hasn't been that much of a gap in tech. We haven't made
a console life.
I know.
That's still all within the life of the PS4.
Yeah, that's still
one
consoles
console.
are lasting like 7 years.
And if you look at what games looked like when the PS4 first came out compared to the stuff that they're pushing on, like Final Fantasy VII Remake, for instance, that game looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, but that's a question
gorgeous.
of developers. The hardware is the same in the console.
But they're pushing the hardware as far as they possibly can. They're learning how to optimize it, and that's another bonus to having the same hardware for that many years. They learn how to code for it perfectly. They're pushing back when it first came out. They pushed the hardware really hard as best they could for say Grand Theft Auto 5 when that first came out, and it looked great, know. But if you look like that compared to what they're doing with Final Fantasy 7, there's no comparison. Yeah. The game looks like shit in comparison to 7.
Well, yeah, no, and I get that, but I'm just saying that we haven't seen as big of jumps as let's say from the 80s to the 90s, so that's a 10-year gap, or roughly a little bit longer than the life cycle of a console. That gap there is way huger than the gaps that we're seeing between 2010 and 2020. Like,
I don't know about that because I'm thinking about a game like, let's say, like E.T. or something like that, and then compare that to like what's something that came out in like 19. No, E.T. came out in the 70s.
Yeah, E.T.'s way older. You'd have to be like Legend of Zelda.
Original. Yeah, so Legend of Zelda, the original one, compared to Super Mario 3. Right? That is it's a big difference.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, Super Mario 3 looks freaking great in comparison, but that 10-year difference isn't like the difference between Super Mario 3 and the original Half-Life.
No, but at that time, they also, you have to take into consideration, they didn't know what they were doing with the tech that they had. I mean, sure, it looks a lot greater, but then you get games that came out in the same generation of console as the Super Nintendo. Mario 3 was on the Super Nintendo, yeah?
No.
Was that original Nintendo?
It was.
Okay.
I know that for a good solid fact because Super Mario World is what came out on Super Nintendo.
Okay, well, let's take... I'm trying to think of a good example because EA does it fantastic.
I thought mine was a pretty good example.
Well, no, but I'm trying to think of like the differences in knowing what we can do with technology.
I can't accept that you think that we've hit some sort of pivotal moment in technology.
That's funny.
Oh, no. I don't think that there can't be any more advancements. It's just that I don't see there being any point in advancing the current gaming style, aka graphics, because we're getting to the point.
They're totally will.
I think that thinking that we're at some sort of point like that where the graphics can't get better is very close-minded.
But to what end? I mean, because of course we can always make something like appear more lifelike and better in that sense. But as far as getting more frame rates or getting something sharper looking, the human eye can only perceive so much, and we're getting to the point where it would be an unperceivable change.
As far as resolution is concerned, but as far as the graphics within the game, that can completely be changed. Completely.
And wouldn't that be more left up to developers and developing engines? Because, I mean, as far as I know, like, okay, let's take into example. As
polygon counts go up, it gets harder to process. And as we use more and more polygons to make things appear smoother and smoother, and we're rendering people's pores on their faces at this point, you know, and every single, like they were talking about modeling actual bone structure versus muscles and then attaching code to each one of those muscles so things even move more smoothly like that. That's shit that none of our computers can handle yet. Not even close, right? So,
well, and that's the thing. That's why I like having these conversations. I could be dead wrong.
Yeah.
But
not only that, but we're so limited in the way that like destructive properties work. Like someone getting, like, say, shot in the arm or something like that. Right now, all we do is like, oh, you know, we stick a little sticker basically in the game that looks like a bullet hole. But one of the things, the biggest advancement they've been doing is destructive properties, you know? So where we could actually remove that and show that the way that it removes, that's a relatively graphic thing for me to go after, but you kind of get my point.
Yeah.
You know, like there are so many avenues that we could improve the technology. It's just to think that we would...
Here's a question. If you do think that we are going to advance that rapidly, then wouldn't it make...
I'm saying that we're going to continue at the rate we're going.
But wouldn't it make more sense? Because it's still at this current juncture in time, if there is a new graphics card that comes out, the slots on my motherboard are perfectly fine to handle it. Yeah, I'd probably spend like $500 or $600 buying a similarly new graphics card. But rather than replacing my whole PC, all I do is buy the new graphics card. It's pretty much the same as buying a console, and then I have the option of playing different games.
A new 2080 is like $800.
Yeah, but I could. You don't have to get a 2080. I could get it away with a 2060 easy enough.
Well, that's not what we're talking about, though. You're like coming up with ways. Like, well, you could go this way.
Well, I mean, it's the same gen. It's just not the
gamers...
penultimate. It's like the difference between getting a PS4 Pro and a PS4. You're still getting a PS4. It's just not got the little extra kick for you.
Yeah, but it seems like it's way more important to the PC people than it is to the console people.
Oh, that I'm not going to argue with. The power thing is definitely a PC elitist.
I just saw you post that you on Facebook that you just built your thing and you're I still need more power. It's like that's what you guys are constantly about. You're constantly about upgrading it, get the best, gotta get the most power. But that has
nothing to do with
That's not what console gaming is
Cody,
about.
shut your mouth for 5 seconds. It's not. No, you've been talking for a long time. You are just loud noises from Cody.
You're just trying to. You are talking over him.
No, but
He's
trying
talking for the first time in like 15 minutes. But what he's saying,
because it has nothing to do with gaming. Not a bit.
Yes,
no, it doesn't. The only reason I'm saying that I have more power is because I do video rendering, which is a whole different monster.
I have a 1080 Titan in my computer.
I don't. Do video editing and rendering?
No,
too?
He doesn't.
Does Josh do
No,
that
he
too?
doesn't.
Because he's constantly talking about upgrading his shit.
Because he likes it, man. That's what I'm trying.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
It's PC culture.
And I'm agreeing with you on that.
To push that
I agree with you on that. I'm not saying that PC gamers don't always want the biggest and best thing out there. That is 100% true fact. Do they need it? No. The only reason I need it is because my rendering is becoming a hassle. I'm getting better at video editing, and it's becoming really, really sluggish, and it actually crashes. So it's not doing the job that I need it to do anymore. It's not that I'm just trying to be, big-headed or anything like that about it. It's that literally my computer's power is not sufficient for what I'm trying to do.
Okay. I don't think that discounts the original point we were going for here.
What is your original point?
Big old conversation fighting with us the whole time. Is that console gaming is a better budget and easier for everyone
And
involved.
I still disagree. But that's fine. Because as far as your budget goes, I'm still saying that you're spending more on buying an entirely new system every few years.
$400
7 years. You keep saying 3. Consoles come out in 7 years.
This time.
It's not 3. You're making up random numbers.
The last time that a console came out before the PS4 was 2006. 2006 to 2013, 7 years.
Okay. Nope, you're right on that.
Wait, is this what it feels like to be right with Travis?
It feels bad.
It's weird. I don't like it.
It's real bad.
It makes me feel uncomfortable.
It's real bad.
I still say that my PC, from what I know, and from what Aaron, from what you know, is going to last longer, and you will spend less money upgrading it.
But we spent more money. We spent more than twice. My graphics card if I sold my graphics card, I could have bought 2 PS4s. Just my graphics card.
Right, but now your PS4s would be obsolete in a year. Can you say the same about your graphics card?
Well,
the PS4 didn't come out in a year ago. It came out 7 years before it's going to be
right. And Aaron's graphics card came out 3 years ago, but it has ray tracing technology, so it's going to be able to do what the PS5 can.
Nobody gives it. Ray tracing's a big buzzword. I don't think it's really going to last.
I know, but that's
honestly.
the big.
It's cool that mine can do it.
That's
but
the
I
big
don't
seller
really care
point
all that much.
of the PS5 is that it's going to have ray tracing technology. That's the only thing.
It's really not. It's a big old. It's a giant power boost, and it's going to be able to push us into like a whole new network. Because honestly, one of the things that helps, if they're pushing the consoles really hard in the power section, it's going to help all games get a lot better, right? Because they develop pretty much all games with consoles in mind, right? So if our consoles are considerably more powerful, we might see a giant boost in how much games need our computers to run. So our console market is even going to push the PC market a little bit further.
If they get on developing new engines that are specifically going to outpower consoles, then I could see that. But
no, they just get better at optimizing them.
I don't know. It's Well, I mean, no, they get better at optimizing them, but I guess I don't understand your argument here, how it's going to, because PC or console gaming is limited because it's only going to ever have that much power, right?
Correct.
So wouldn't they,
But
if they're going to
power.
experiment on how far they can push something, wouldn't they just get the biggest, baddest thing out there and push it as far as it can go?
Which is what they're doing right now, is they're pushing the PS5 to be the biggest, baddest thing they can possibly do for a significantly cheaper budget.
But
because you even said yourself that you thought that, like, oh, that thing's going to be like, you know,
I still do. These are
something like that.
He said it'll be like $800.
These are
originally
projected prices. I still don't think they're going to be able to get away with making money off of $500. Because
they won't. I think the PS4 was losing money the whole first year, but then they let it lose money, and they let themselves lose money because it makes the customers happy. They get a great deal, and then eventually it gets cheaper to produce. I think it was the first year and a half the PS4 was making zero money.
The thing is, like, I'm a console boy. I've always bought consoles. Every time a new console's coming out, this is always a conversation. It's going to be $800. It's going to be $1,000. And then it comes out for $399. Maybe $499 if you want the Pro or whatever. It's never as bad as everybody thinks it's going to be. This system's probably going to be $400 or $500. That's it. And that's it. It's not going to be $1,000. It's not going to be $800.
Honestly, I just don't see how they could make.
They're not going to fucking do that.
Yeah, they only did it the one time, and they learned.
They learned their goddamn
I just don't know with those specs how they're going to make money at that point. I mean, because yes, they are Sony.
They won't.
Because they're still thinking long term, bro.
Yeah, they're a big business, and they can afford to take a hit on that stuff if it gets those consoles into people's hands. And then the parts will get cheaper to make because they've made more of them, and they get them wholesale, and they'll start making money later because they're going to be selling the console the same way it is right now for like 7 years. Because right now, they're still producing PS4s. They're still selling them brand new, and they're now making a lot of money on them. Their margins are much better now, and they know that.
Yeah, realistically, that's a risky.
It doesn't die. Right.
That's a risky business model. I mean, realistically,
not for. If we started a business and put out a new console, we'd be fucked.
Yeah.
But Sony and Microsoft, nah, they can do it.
They can take a hit for a while.
Okay, but let's say
it.
that they release that console and it completely flops. Like, even with the new specs and stuff like that, just people don't want it. It's not that good.
Like the Wii U.
The Wii U or like the Xbox One. It just didn't do that great.
The Xbox One did okay.
No, I mean, even to date, I mean, it broke about even, but it didn't do great. Yeah. So let's say it's a Dreamcast situation where it's just not appreciated. It's like, meh, fuck it. You know? That... I mean...
Yeah, no, I totally get that. But they do understand who they are. And they are one of the two biggest consoles in the world.
Do you honestly think they're going to pull a Dreamcast?
Realistic.
The PS5 is going to be a Dreamcast?
I don't think that's possible.
This is for the sake of argument at this point. I don't think that they'll pull a Dreamcast, no. And I mean, I want to reiterate that I'm probably going to go out and buy one of these consoles when it comes out because...
No, you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to anymore.
No,
everyone's buying a PS5.
You know what, Cody? I'm going to come to your house and buy your PS5. How are you going to like that? And then I'm going to shit at it. And then I'll give it back to you.
They might get 2,000 because I might buy two, one for me and one for Jess.
Oh no, they're gonna bump that up again because I'm getting two also.
Yeah, so they're getting $2,500 from just us.
Well, I know, but that's why I'm like, why though? Because it's like, is there a game that we can't play on PC right now on PlayStation?
This is bad. You're circling.
I know, but like,
the thing is, no. Okay, no. You keep not letting me talk.
Go ahead.
Just let me have one little point, please.
You give your point.
Yes. You're probably right. There isn't going to be a thing that you can't play on your PC. That's fucking fine. I don't want to pay $1,000 for a PC when I like my PlayStation. That's the point. There's people that don't want a PC. We don't care. I don't care about the fucking huge specs that you can grab. I don't care. I like the PlayStation. It hits a point that makes me happy. I like the specs they can grab on that thing. I like the way the games look. I like the way the games play. I like what PlayStation does with the free games with the PS Plus and all this shit that they do, and I just like it. And there's a lot of people like me that like that. And we don't want to pay $1,000 for a gaming PC, and then in 5 years, oh, well, the new graphic card, I probably don't need it, but it is going to make it look a little better. I mean...
And moreover, though, it's a lot less intrusive. Like, PCs are kind of difficult from time to time, just to say the least.
It's like we said before, it's overwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can't all be you, Travis.
Well, no. I'm not saying that everybody's going to be happy with the same thing. It's just that if they could truly get away with releasing a console at that price, then couldn't you just release a gaming PC for that price at the same thing? And, like, I know people just don't like to play on PC. Some people don't. That's fine.
No. This model's been tried. Remember the Steam box, dude?
Oh.
Vaguely.
It didn't work.
I don't ever remember that actually coming out.
They put out... It did come out. It failed so hard that no one could do it. They did the exact same thing, right? They put out the Steam box. It was about $500. I think it was running like Linux or something like that. And they had Steam on it, and they could play all the games, and it had, exactly the way it should. But no one really wanted it. They're like, if I'm going to do something like this, I'd either want a full-blown PC or I just want a console.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. That's what I don't get about it, is why couldn't they just make a full-blown PC for that price?
Because it's more expensive.
Why? It's the same parts.
Expensive because that is exactly what the Steam box is.
Right, but they limited it to where you couldn't use it as a PC. Why do that?
No, you could probably put Windows 10 on it, but then you fall into that like, hey, now you have to put Windows 10 on it because Windows 10 costs $100.
I mean, but Linux, you could run Linux and it works, similar as an operating system, and it will run Windows programs. If you want a program, just buy the damn program.
Linux was on it.
Well, that's what I mean, but you couldn't use it as a PC?
You could. It was running Linux, and everyone, normal people usually use either Mac or Windows.
Right, so if that was their major flaw, then just put Windows on it. There you go.
It wasn't the only major flaw. People just didn't like the idea of having a PC-style console.
Because people that want a PC get a PC.
Yeah.
People want a console, get a console.
Mm-hmm.
I like consoles.
Yeah.
That's kind of where it is, but you're like trying to defend it to a point.
No,
no, consoles are dumb.
No, that's the only thing that I'm going about is I don't think that they're going to be able to do it at that price. If they can, cool. And like I said,
that was what this conversation was.
That's all I said in the original point. But then you guys started going, "Oh, PC master race, bad, and then I was like, "Okay, well, this is why I like PC."
I have a very expensive PC.
I know, but Cody was the one that went bad, PC master race. Literally,
but I agree with him.
It wasn't this conversation started by me just explaining what the specs are on the PS5.
But then you went on to talk about how much better of a value it is to get a PC.
Because if you're going to spend the same price, that's what I said.
We
don't know. We don't know. We don't fucking know. Okay, listen to the fucking thing that said here. Ace Research Institute's analyst Hideki Usada said the console will cost $499 when it launches in 2020, and the PlayStation 4 launched in mid-November 2013 in North America. The original price tag was assumed to be at $599, but then they got it at $399. So they don't know is the whole thing.
Everybody assumes it's going to be more. That's what I said.
Right,
earlier.
and judging by what prices are right now for those items, isn't it a safe assumption to say that that'll be more expensive than a $499 price tag?
Because Aaron has said the point 15 times that they do it at wholesale, and they take a loss in the beginning to make money in the end because they're a big company. They can do that. That's what he's been saying.
You can look at wholesale prices, and I still do not think they're cheap enough to resale that.
For you,
we can't see those kinds of prices though. But if you're freaking Sony buying millions of these things all at once, they're gonna get a better deal than us.
Oh well, no, I get that, but I don't think that they can.
Do you?
I don't know.
I do, but I don't think they're going to get away with the cheaper price tag. That's what happened with the PS3. They thought they could do it cheaper, and they couldn't, so they had to release it at a big price.
They only did that because they had to put both the actual previous consoles inside of it. The original PS3 launched with an actual PS2 inside it and an original PS1
right, but they overestimated.
That was their problem.
They estimated they could do it for X, but they couldn't. They had to do it for Y. And I'm saying they're going to do that again. Up. That's it.
I don't think so. I think they figured it out with the PS4, and they're going to be pretty damn prepared for that.
Unless they've already got their productions ordered, there's no possible way to know.
I'm sure that they've got most of it ordered because it's coming out next year. They got to be building shitloads of consoles to prepare for this.
Typically, they don't. That's why you see shortages at the beginning.
No, they only see shortages if they don't actually make enough consoles and they underestimate the amount that they're going to sell.
Right, which happens almost every time. I mean, look at the Switch. Look at the PS4, actually. Yeah, PS4s were, I mean, initially they were fairly easy to get, but after the first month, they were actually kind of hard to get a hold of. Switch was really hard to get a hold of.
Yeah, Nintendo never thought that it was going to be that big of a hit.
Right, I mean, so...
But they're known for not producing enough games. Like, only... like Breath of the Wild, they only produce so much of them, but they do that as a marketing strategy.
Yeah, that's a marketing
because
strategy
they want people to sell it all out.
Like, that's what I mean is I don't think that they'd go into production this early, especially when they're still trying to do testing and whatnot. Like, we haven't even seen...
They're not.
We haven't even seen demos of gameplay yet. Of course they got to be doing testing still. We haven't even seen...
That just means that they're trying to keep it under wraps.
Well, I mean, but we've already had E3 this year. So they're gonna have to do their conference at E3 next year. So of course they're gonna test it and try to make it look as good as possible by then. I mean, and they should be doing testing up until, it's doomsday. That's a good company. Fuck, Blizzard could take a leaf out of doing that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with doing testing. I just don't think that they're to the point where they're making units yet. I mean, judging by everything that we've seen in the past, they do not make units like a year and a half early, because then on top of that, you could have somebody steal one. I mean, that has happened.
It has.
Yep. So, that was a good discussion.
Was it, though?
I hope y'all enjoyed that.
They didn't.
Fuck off, Cody.
If you liked that, you can use that like button.
You know what? Thumbs down, just for Cody's attitude. Just give Cody a thumbs down for me.
I'm the problem.
Oh.
Rated a 1-star. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with how the conversation went.
Fine. Yeah, that's fine.
I think he goes after the podcast. I
know, yeah. He never talks about the podcast audience until now.
Yeah, that's you're full of shit.
Never once have I heard rate 5 stars come out of your face, and now it's like, rate 1 star because Cody sucks. Fucking dick.
All of the links for everything is down
now
in the description below, and down into the show notes if you wanted to check that out. Subscribe to this channel. And subscribe over, at Breaking the Cycle and such. It's good stuff over there too.
If you want,
and you guys have a frickin' good week.
Bernie Sanders,
a frickin' good week.
Frickin' good.
Yeah, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Say bye, Cody.
He waved. It's good.
Race the black star, no man, yeah.